Hello and welcome. My name is Grace, and this is my channel. Yeah, so it's been a while since I've recorded a video. I'm getting a little bit out of practice, is what it is. Yeah, I mentioned months ago that things were going to change a little bit, where I wouldn't have the time or the energy to be posting regular videos. I'd like to thank everyone who's been attending our live series, Metamorphosis, that Natalia and I have been conducting over the last few weeks. And we're going to have another one in a few hours where we're going to discuss tools and whether or not you need them and all that good stuff. But I thought I'd come on and do another one of those experiential meaning of the tarot cards. And today's card, I kept putting it off people because I don't like this one either. You'll see there's a bit of a trend with me about the cards that I struggle with. Today is the Lovers. I brought with me one of each of my favorite decks. I know I trashed the Rider-Waite-Smith a while back, but I trashed it with love, people. This has been with me a long time. Centennial's my favorite version of it, and the Thoth. This one's mine. You can't tell from the coloration, but it's not as stark and clear as the current one by U.S. Games. This is a greenie. All right, the Lovers. So when I started reading tarot, and I would go to other readers and have my cards done, they would, if the Lovers came up, it was always your soulmate, relationship, marriage, no, or a intimate relationship. And then I started reading for myself and for others, and that is not at all the context that this card used to come up in. And I'm going to hold up this one because this is the one I've been reading. Like, this is the deck I've been reading with the longest, Rider-Waite-Smith. This card comes up to talk when it's time to look at the choices we're making. This card comes up for me, or when I read for other people, literally when one needs to examine their motivation or their motivations, the choices they've made, good or bad. Well, not good or bad, but we make our own choice. We know that we make our choices, and we take the consequence that come with the choices we've made. This has never been a romance card when I've read for myself or other people. This has always been what I call the warning card. The warning card. This one comes up to warn of the Devil card, to warn of that next that next level. Which hopefully I have. No, I didn't. I didn't pull out the Devil card to have on hand. This card comes up with the choices you make, whether they're choices that affect your health, choices that affect your mental health, choices that affect your career, choices that affect your relationships. This is a card of choice. And I find that whenever I've seen it in literature or people speaking about it, no one really gets down to the nitty-gritty of what does that mean about choice. Here, the figures are free. So when this card comes up, it's because you are going to be faced with choices to make, or a choice to make, that depending on what you choose, it's either you're either remaining free or you put yourself in bondage. So let me backtrack a little bit. An example of this is when you see in this card, in the Lover's card, often alluded to Adam and Eve in the Garden of Eden. You see there's on Eve's side you have the snake, of course, you know, the tree with the snake, tree of knowledge and the snake. On Adam's side it looks like there's, I don't know what it is, but I'm guessing, when I look at it, not I'm guessing, but when I read it, it's not the tree of knowledge. It doesn't say, how can I put this? It always bugged me that it should be a mirror image. All right? It should have Adam should have the same tree behind him if this is in fact what this is illustrating, and I'm almost certain it is what it's illustrating. So right there, this card starts out with feminine. The feminine always leads towards making the bad decisions, and the masculine always leads to making the correct decisions. So, and I don't mean this in gender, I mean this in energy, masculine and feminine energy, right? So, active, passive, this being up there. Here you have a being. Here you have what to me looks like literally a puppet master. Look at his hands. See the hands right up here? Look at them. It's a puppet master. This is going to be a meandering one, people, because this card, I have to say, this is what I find, this is why tarot has maintained my interest over the course of over 30 years. For 36 years, tarot has maintained my interest. And this is one of those, this is one of the prime examples. So whenever I see the Lover's card, right away I'm feeling already a little lost. I feel groundless. I'm trying to figure out, okay, what's it alluding to? What choices? And I'm in a devil year. Where's the devil? I'm in a devil year. And I'm having to, and because I'm in a devil year, I'm spending a lot of time pondering choices I've made. Now, when I say pondering choices I've made, I'm not saying they're all negative, but you know, it's like from the surface kind of things, from the mundane to the arcane, to this, from the sacred to the profane. This is all encompassing for me this year. And it's because this is the year of the culmination of all the decisions I've made. Some have been really fruitful. Some of these decisions were downright inspired. Others, not so much. This is also the card that warns of obsession. This is the card that warns of not being, indecisiveness and obsessing with the choices versus actually, choosing a path. This is the card that warns of, I don't want to use terminology that is loaded, right? But it's hard not to. But this warns of you're approaching something, someone that you're becoming obsessive about. This card also heralds a time where you're approaching a place where you're choosing to escape over facing the issue at hand. This is definitely a card of escape. This is a card of splitting yourself in two, where you're literally of two minds and you can't make up either of them. This is also, oh sorry, that's my cell phone. This is also the card that heralds a time of approaching a subject, a person, something that is not good for you. That gives you pleasure, but it's not good for you. And now this is the card that starts to warn you that, oh my gosh, you know what? You are treading that path now. You're treading close to, you're heading for that volcano. And whether it's it could obsession, addiction, sexual addiction, food addiction, emotional addiction. And what I mean by emotional addiction, those people who are addicted to being in love with something or someone constantly, that kind of addiction. But this is still at that phase where we can retreat. We can make ourselves aware and go, whoa, 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 whoa. I don't want to head down that path. I am not heading for that volcano. Or complete abandon, where it's like, fuck it. It's a pandemic and I'm gonna just live for today and whatever. Who cares about tomorrow? This is what this card means when it comes up in a reading for myself or for other people. This is the card that warns of fixated thinking. Obsession is the best word for this card. Whenever it flips out and lands on the table, it's like right away, oh, what is the obsessive thoughts? What are the obsessive thoughts right now? Now, I need to put this in context for those of you watching. I'm not saying this is for you. And I'm not speaking in riddles, and I'm not speaking in code. This is my experience with this card. Your experience could be entirely different, and please, I invite you all to, in the comments down below, to tell me, what does this card mean when you see it in a reading, either for yourself or others. But I tend to be the kind of person that becomes fixated on things. I tend to be the kind of person that becomes obsessed with a topic of interest. I'm one of those people that tends to escape. I can endure a lot of stress. I can endure a lot of stress because I repress it. And this also is a card that shows me, okay, so you're repressing these feelings and it's going to start to bubble up. There's the volcano again. It's going to start to bubble up because you're repressing these feelings, you're repressing this stress, you're repressing this anger, and it's going to start to bubble up in some kind of obsession. In the early days of when I first started to read tarot, there are two cards that used to tell me, whoa, stop with those questions. You're working yourself up into a lather now, and it's like, whoa, put the cards down and step the hell back. It was the High Priestess and this card that would come up for me constantly, like just stalker cards telling me, yeah, okay, you need to stop. You need to stop. And that was because I became really fixated on using these cards to answer the mundane questions. That I had a lot of stuff going on when I first started reading tarot, that I got to tell you, it's like all my layouts were black. You know what I mean? It was all devil, death, tower, like all nine of swords, 10 of swords. Literally, when I first started reading tarot, every time I put down a spread of cards, it was always black. I'll do another catch-up kind of video. This is just for this, because this goes on the playlist for the cards. So this So then last year, when I started to read with Thoth, Thoth, and I first saw the Lover's card in Thoth, I gotta say I was a little overwhelmed by the imagery. I was overwhelmed by the imagery, and then I studied it, and I saw, the hands of the puppet master over this royal couple joining together, and the two children, joining together, and you see the duality there. You see you see how you have the fair-haired and the dark-haired, the fair-skinned and the dark-skinned, and it's this is a card that then you have the figures at the top and then you have the Orpheus at the bottom, and this one seemed more balanced. This one, I looked at it and I said, oh, yeah, the choices we make. The choices we make are either come from us, which is like the bottom, they come from us, or I don't even know how to describe it, but let me show you. The choices that we make either come from us or they're made for us. But ultimately, it's the choices that we make that put us in situations where we chose this path, and now we're actually actively able to affect change, or we've decided, and it's always us deciding, it's always our choices, right? To be passive and let the puppet master take the lead. And that's where, again, this card heralds that danger of even inaction is action. Not making a choice is still making a choice, because at that point you are not taking an active role in choosing your path. You're just letting whatever happen to you, and that's self-destructive. It can be self-destructive. I don't want to overgeneralize, but in my experience, in my life, I could tell you that when I've taken too long, because I could be terribly indecisive. I have this indecisive streak that is insane. And I always I push with my indecisiveness, and then in the nick of time, I make a choice. Literally, sometimes it's like fucking flipping a coin, right? But even flipping a coin is making a choice, because if you choose heads or tails, and you chose tails, and it lands on tails, you still know that's whether or not that's the right choice for you. So, okay, that was confusing. Let me try. So, choosing to take action is heads. Choosing not to take action is tails. So, you call it, I choose to take action. Or heads or tails, right? I said it wrong again. Oh my God, people. You see what I mean? This energy messes with me a lot. I struggle with this energy. Okay. Heads is taking action. Tails is remaining passive. So flip a coin, and that's what I'm going to decide to do. Because I can't decide. I'm going to let fate decide. I'm going to let this coin decide, right? When the coin lands, and it says, and you look at it, and it says heads, and you recoil, and you think, no. That's how you know that you really want, deep down inside, to remain passive, and vice versa. That's why when someone cannot make a decision, I literally resort to flipping a coin, because that clarifies it for me. And this card is the two sides of that coin. This card, for me, this energy reminds me that you could be active or passive. You can choose to do the accept it. You could choose to make the decision that is considered to be the right decision by general consensus, or you could choose to make the decision that goes against the grain, right? And how that's going to play out. But ultimately, we are affected every day by every single choice that we've made. So right now, let's take a moment to reflect on our lives while you're hanging out with me here for the next minute or so. Reflect on your life. This very moment is a culmination of every choice you've ever made. Did you choose to be active? Are most of your choices active? Or do you feel like you've taken control? You've taken the wheel? Or are you currently feeling like you're just playing, you're just dancing the way the puppet master wants you to dance? And that's my experiential meaning of the Lover's card. I invite you in the comments down below. I'd love to hear what your experiential meanings of these cards are when they show up for you. I don't know if I've mentioned in my other videos, what I discuss in my experiential meanings of the cards is I just pick one meaning at random because I've been reading for a long time, and sometimes these cards do mean whatever the guidebook says. I don't even know what the guidebook says. I'm terrible people with guidebooks, I'm sorry. But sometimes they do mean the general meaning that's found in every guidebook. Sometimes they just mean the number 6 in numerology. Sometimes this card just means the energy of the zodiac sign Gemini. Sometimes it just means the energy of the 3rd house in astrology. And sometimes it really does mean soulmate. And sometimes it really does mean fate that we cannot escape, that it is carved in stone, that it is decreed from heaven. All right. Thank you so much for tuning in, and I'm wishing you all a beautiful day.